What is going on with y'all, man? It is Black Balloon, and now I'm coming back with another video, so y'all already know what's going on. Alright, y'all. Now today we got a really interesting video at hand. This is the first time I've ever had Kel Mitchell on the channel. So recently, as y'all may be familiar with the channel, Club Shay Shannon Sharpe, the ex-NFL football player, had the super viral interview with Cat Williams. He recently did an interview with Kel Mitchell, and they talked about a bunch of stuff. They talked about Nickelodeon, Kenan and Kel, Fallout, and Kel, he had a very interesting clip where it got very spiritual, and he gave, his testimony of his ex-wife pitting a hex on him, basically casting a spell on him. And he talked about how, he sort of went through an exorcism and he got all of those demons that was hosting his body out of himself. He talked about the devil, he talked about God, he talked about what it is to, basically create soul ties and swap spirits through sex. So I thought it would be very, very interesting to bring this clip to the channel, and I also have another clip that relates to the same thing. So we're basically just, gonna cover this topic of who we involve ourselves with, especially through having sex, creating soul ties. And, in a sense, this kind of goes back to, the transfer of spirits, because not just consciously and do they have the technology to transfer spirits, at least we think so. We also do it ourselves through having sex. And that is obviously the most natural and common way of transferring spirits, transferring all kind of shit, trauma. You transfer a lot of stuff you may not realize when you have sex with the wrong people. So with that being said, y'all, I thought this would be a very good video to, kind of switch it up and talk about something that we all deal with and are fighting right now in our lives, or we have fought in the past. Some of you, you may be coming up to that point where you're about to go through this, because I believe we all will go through it at some times in our lives. We just have the choice of how long we're going to let it affect us and block our true path, our true destiny. And Kel gets into that a lot. Now, I've never heard him speak like this, because I've never, I haven't kept up with his career or, his new journey with God. And it was refreshing to hear him talk the way that he did. He's now 45 years old. A lot of y'all know him from Kenan and Kel, Good Burger, Nickelodeon, all that. Y'all familiar with who he is. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this first clip without me doing too much talking, because I really want to go deep into some of the stuff that he talks about, and the second clip that I have to support with this video. So with that being said, y'all, check this out.
Has done some things as far as like putting a hex on you, these different things she has done, spiritual wise. And I'm like, what? I'm like, yo,
man,
what?
You put the root on you?
I'm like, yo, what you talk about? Like, word, like, what? And she's like, yeah. I understood it, within what was going on. When she told me that, now this is me being introduced to the spiritual realm, because we were spirits.
Right.
And we're in the spiritual realm. And so when that happened, she said, I want you to say blood of Jesus. I want you to start saying blood of Jesus, and I'm going to pray over you. And she started to do that. Now I'm spitting up. And within that process, getting reconnected to the Lord in a very spiritual way in this moment. Now all my friends are here, some of my homies are here, and they're seeing me. And what is happening within this process, demons start like literally speaking out their name. I'm saying their names out loud, but they're coming out of my body. So each one is saying who they are. So imagine I'm watching this as this is happening to me, and they're literally going, I'm such and such, and my body would contort and be something totally different as this is talking, and I'm spitting out. And as this is going on and I'm saying all this, I'm like, yo, and they all come out. Finally, I'm tired after like an hour of warring within the spirit. and everyone's she's speaking in tongues, and me warring within the spirit. And after that happens, then I get up, and my face, bro, like, my face was totally clear. Like, I'm talking like clear. I went to the bathroom, and I'm like, yo. And I just sat down, and it was like I just had a craziest workout. And at that moment, no one could tell me that there's not a God. Wow. Because I understood that this is spiritual warfare that we're dealing with. Then I also understood that throughout every process between work and also with relationships and toxic relationships and everything, is that there's a real enemy that is warring for us. And I started to understand that it's not the person or the person that did it, through in the workplace, or the person that I was dealing with within my relationship, my ex-wife, and all those different things. There's a real enemy that was after me and what I was doing, because they knew what I would be for the Lord and what that process is. Because, the Lord sees us from eternity. Mm-hmm. So he views you from eternity. So he knows what you were going to be, or the powerhouse you're going to be for the Lord. You know what I mean? And what's going to happen.
Yep.
And so within that happening within my life, all these distractions that were going on was to stop me from being who I am within the Holy Spirit. And so when that happened, it wasn't like, now I'm going to preach. I didn't know that.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was just a thing of getting that off of me and understanding that just like we pray, to the Lord, there's people that pray towards Satan as well. And that's just a real thing. And we got to understand that. And there's people that have generational curses within their family and all these different things. And we broke that on that night, which was beautiful. And we got to be careful who you lay down with. That's real process. You got to be careful who you lay down with. Because when you mix in spirits, that's what you do. When you're having sex with people, you're bonding within that. That's when people break up, and they might break up with somebody, but that person could still have a hold on them. Tell them something, you get that phone call and that heart and the stuff because they're connected in a soul tie. So you got to be able to get that off of you too. You might break up with somebody, but there can be soul ties. And you don't know what they're connected to as well.
Now, Kel said a mouthful right there in that clip, y'all. We could honestly have a whole video just about that clip alone. And it instantly brings me to one of the most, famous verses from the Bible. Things that remind you of this verse constantly when, dealing with the spiritual battle. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Ephesians 6:12. That's what that whole clip was about. And he said it perfectly. He said it started with him basically spitting demons up. And his body was reacting to each demon coming out of his body and saying their names. It instantly reminds me, how your body, like he said, it contorted, face, kind of disfigures. It instantly reminded me of Beyonce. When she would be on stage and that demon show up and she's gathering all the energy from the crowd, and you can see the demon in her face, like your face and your body, it changes. You become what has embodied you. You become what is now hosting you. That demon is, that demon has basically took control, and it distorts your normal human look. And so, like I said, he went through an exorcism. And I thought, that just confirms everything, how we was talking about familiar spirits with Orlando Brown, and how these demons will speak. And y'all brought up, the Whitney Houston interview with, I think Diane Sawyer, years back, when that demon spoke for her and she smiled with that really eerie grin.
Alcohol? Is it marijuana? Is it cocaine? Is it pills?
It has been. At times.
All?
At times.
If you had to name the devil for you, the biggest devil among them?
That would be me. It's my deciding.
And I think what may be the most important part about that clip, we're going to cover everything he talked about, is when he said he started to realize that, throughout relationships, toxic relationships, the workplace, everything, when something is fighting for your soul, when something is warring against your soul, it's not the person that's done something to you, the person at work, the person you're with, a family member. It's those demons that are warring for your soul in this spiritual battle, in this world that we live in. I think that's the most important part to realize, because, I think a lot of things will become much more simple to understand when you realize, this person, they're not intentionally trying to do things to you. A lot of us are chosen for a much bigger path. A lot of us are chosen for, greatness, destinies that are, not meant for everyone. And it's not to say that those other people won't get what they deserve, but, there's just certain things you're going to accomplish in life that other people won't. Like I said, it doesn't mean they won't have a deserving life. It's just, we all have different purposes. And these demons are here to knock us off of that purpose and ultimately stop our connection to God. I think that's the biggest thing, especially through relationships, especially men who, are weak to women, especially women who have a hard time being alone, in and out of relationships. A lot of the times you got to realize those men coming in your life doing you wrong every time, they're being used by these spirits in order to stop you from becoming who you are. And just like I said, it's our job to determine how long we are going to let it happen in our lives. How long are you going to allow yourself to be stopped, put in certain situations that will not allow you to reach your destiny? How long are you going to allow it? And I was amazed at listening to him say that, because for someone to become, he sounds like he has become very comfortable with who he is. He's accepted what this life is about in the spirit. Once you learn those things, these demons can't defeat you. They have nothing for you, because they can't catch you off guard no more, because now you know where the battle lies. The battle is in the spirit. The battle is in the spirit world. It just goes back. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, y'all. We're not wrestling. We're not battling humans. You're not battling the person next to you. You have to understand what this is telling you. It's against principalities, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, spiritual wickedness in high places, spiritual wickedness in high places. Think about what that verse is telling you. So everything that you battling in life, that's where it's coming from. So I think ultimately it will allow you to forgive people more. It doesn't mean like allow someone to just mess up your life and stay with them. It just means that, you've accepted that that battle was won and that battle is over. You can forgive that person because they were being used by spirits. I think that part is something that a lot of people don't understand. And you'll be able to live with yourself a little bit more, even with some of the things that you have done to other people. You will now know and be able to understand that you were being used. They have a lot of power when you give it to them, especially when you're ignorant and you don't know about the spirit world. You don't know who is battling for your soul. Then they have a lot of power because you have multiple spirits that are hosting your body. They only have the power that we give them. And this is the time to recognize that. Now, before we talk about the last part of Kel's clip where he spoke about, relationships and watching who you lay down with and creating soul ties. Remember, I did a whole series here on YouTube about soul ties. Before we revisit that topic, I want y'all to check out this clip where Tiffany Haddish talks about having a spirit husband and how, she basically, gets the best sex in her dreams. We'll go ahead and check this clip out first. Then I'll come back, wrap the video up, and we'll talk about the ending of Kel's clip and, this clip as well, because it basically goes together. So with that being said, y'all, check this out.
Make noise for sleep.
Yeah. Sleep don't want noise.
And let me tell you something. The best things happen to me in my sleep.
What happens?
Girl,
With Rose?
No, the rose don't happen in my sleep, but it's a fine. It's this dude that show up in my dreams that be killing it. He do everything I like.
That's her man.
That's my man. I don't know. He live in my brain.
That's why you sleep a
We
lot.
gotta make Weird Science 3.
Okay, does this guy have a
Hey,
job?
that's a good idea. Weird Science 3, by the way.
Does he have a job? This guy in your
This
dream?
guy, no, he has a career. He don't have a
Well,
job.
what does he do?
What
The
was
man in your brain.
Oh, the man in my brain.
What does he look like? Maybe we know him.
He is taller than me.
Okay.
He don't have no face. He don't have no face, but he say the best
His
thing.
name is No Face?
His name? I don't know what his name is.
Let's
I
just
call
call him No Face.
In my dreams, I call him husband. That's my
fire.
favorite word.
That's fine.
It's my favorite word, husband. And then, like, in my dreams,
But he don't talk back because he got no face.
And no teeth.
No, but he talk back though. I can hear him.
Oh.
Yeah, because he's my husband.
Okay.
Got it.
So
Makes
I can
a
hear
lot of
him in my
sense.
brain. He don't need to talk for me to know.
Right.
That's called ESP. Is it ESP?
I'm not sure.
Telekinetic
Whatever
energy.
it is,
I mean, it's in your dream already, so
It's in my
it's just
dream.
whatever.
It's my fucking dream. Okay. And then like he be cleaning the house for me
Nice.
and everything. And
Massages?
then when I get home, he run a bath. He wash me.
Nice.
He wash me like I'm a baby. He be lifting up my arm and everything, cleaning up my armpits. He be clean.
Now, to wrap this video up, I wanted to end it talking about soul ties and, just basically watching who we lay down with at night or who we choose to have sex with. All across the board, people, you may have sex with someone that you're not actually dating. Obviously you're having sex with someone that you are dating. People meet somebody, have sex on the first night, a couple of days later, may not ever have sex again. And often, a lot of times, don't realize how important it is to guard your soul against having sex with random people who you know nothing about. Just like Kel said at the end of that clip, you create soul ties with people and you wonder why you can't leave them alone when you should leave them alone or when you really want to. And like how he said, you get that phone call, your heart start beating, you start feeling anxiety. Like if you're getting calls from people that you mess with or an ex or someone you might even be in a relationship with, if they call you and you feel a sense of, uneasy, if you feel uneasy or you feel a little bit of anxiety and they may not even be calling you, about anything crazy, but especially if it's someone that you don't want to be with no more, you're trying to end the relationship and they're just calling to try to talk to you. If you feel uneasy when they call you, that's what he meant. That's a soul tie. That's a connection through the spirit that has been built based off, you having sex with the wrong person. Because you're creating energy that has now bonded you two together, and it shouldn't have been that way from the first place. Because it feels right, when you're with the right person, it feels good. You don't get anxiety when they call you. Your heart don't start beating. You don't get that funny feeling in your gut when you with the person or when they call you out the blue. It's comfortable. It's something that you want to happen when you're with the right person. But when we constantly, choose to have sex with random people or you know, we just end up in a long relationship with somebody that we know we shouldn't be with, this is what you create. This is what causes the relationship to go on longer than it should, because you are now tied with the man or with the woman. And you wonder why you can't break it, because you don't know how to, because it's a spiritual connection now. And now you taking on all kind of energies and, like I said earlier, traumas, you know, things from that person past, you know, a lot of stuff, you know, generational curses. You've now taken on a lot of stuff that you may have never dealt with in your life. And then, you know, to take it even further than that, like he went through, you got a lot of women who will put these hexes on you, or try to, just because y'all are breaking up, and they don't want to see you move on. But you got to remember, that's that spirit that's in control, that is wanting to see you stay in the same place that you've been in. Everything is all right when you're just blind and ignorant to it. But when you start to become aware and you're trying to move on and better yourself, that's when you run into a bunch of problems spiritually. You know, that's when you start experiencing things that got you like, wait a minute, I wasn't going through this before. But now when you're trying to get yourself right, you know, you're about to start to go through some of the things that, you know, you set yourself up with, but you just didn't realize you were setting yourself up. And by that, I mean those soul ties. Now those demons are really about to start messing with you, because you're trying to break that soul tie. You know, when you living in it, they cool, you know, they not really messing with you like that. But now you trying to break it, you trying to get out of that relationship, you trying to better yourself. Boom, now you got to deal with a bunch of other shit that life is about to throw at you, because these demons don't want to see you prosper. And it's just as simple as that. So, of course, it's the most important to watch who you laying down with and be able to have more self-control, because you can feel when you have self-control over your hormones and you're not all horny trying to have sex with everybody or with every girl or man that you talk to. You can feel it. You can feel it when you really have self-control. You know, you only get turned on for that person that you're supposed to be doing it with. You know, hopefully you get married. Hopefully people bring back, you know, marriage. You know what I'm saying? And not let social media discourage you from actually wanting to propose to your woman. You know, and I'm talking to men. You know, too many people get caught up in, you know, I don't want to get married, I don't want to do this. You know, like, bring the old school back. You know, bring back what your grandparents did. Got married and stayed together 40 years, you know. I know a lot of people out there that still actually want that kind of life. But on our way to doing so, you know, hopefully you gather the discernment to be able to make that right choice on the person you choose to lay down with, you know, marry, or just be with. You know, I'm not saying you have to get married, but, you know, let's just make sure we're choosing the right people first. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, we end up paying for it in ways that, you know, you wouldn't imagine. It'll bring a lot of drama into your life when you choose the wrong person, man or woman. And to, you know, kind of navigate to the last clip with Tiffany Haddish, I thought that was very, I don't know what I want to call that. Because when she said, you know, she basically has a spirit husband and he does it right every time in her dreams, you know, and she's talking about sex. I don't know how, you know, much she believes in God or the spirit world, but they were drunk. You know, it's Drink Champs. It's a podcast where you get drink, you invite spirits into your life, you drink spirits, and then you talk about stuff. So she was literally drinking spirits. Spirits were helping her open up, and she decided to talk about a spirit that comes in her dreams and has sex with her. Think about that. And they were all laughing and giggling. Like I said, I don't know these people, you know, spirituality or what they believe in. But it's almost, I don't know what you want to call that, like a double negative. I don't know. You're drinking, you know, alcohol, which is opening you up to other spirits in the spirit world. And she starts talking about this spirit that comes and has sex with her in her sleep. Now, notice she said he doesn't have a face, which I've talked about that a couple of times in my videos, a lot of these, incubus or succubus spirits that come into your dreams to have sex with you, a lot of the times you can't see their face. Sometimes it's people that you do know, though. It might be a girl or it might be a guy that you actually know, and you have sex with them in your dream. You just don't realize you're having sex with a spirit, like a demon spirit. And to me, it just, I don't know, it just seemed really ignorant of them to be drinking alcohol, and you're talking about a spirit entering into your dream as if it's like funny. You must not be aware of what is actually going on in the spiritual world, or the fact that you're naming, that you do have a spirit husband that visits you often in your dreams. And it could become that way, especially in her case, if she's ignorant to it and actually liking it. So you have to think about that. You're very vulnerable when you go to sleep. And that's a very important time for dreams that, they should be clear. Like, obviously the dream realm is very untapped, and they can be very random at times. Unless you stay up all night thinking about something and then you dream about it, then it's like, all right, that's obvious. But sometimes they can be very random. But when those spirits decide to enter into your dream, it's time to decide, it's time to think about what actually are you doing in your life to allow that to happen. If you just watched porn that night or a night before that, obviously that's something you might need to work on, because that invites those spirits. Drugs, alcohol, they invite those spirits into your life. There's a bunch of different stuff on how we allow them to enter into, our body. So I thought that clip was pretty interesting to add to this video, just because I was just like, yo, this is not funny. Like, I hope you realize it's not funny. I hope you have someone to tell you that. But yeah, man, I don't want to keep going on and on. This is a deep topic that, we could always talk about. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, people are battling this kind of stuff every single day, especially when it comes to choosing the right person and, the person that you're with, and you may not even want to give up on. Man, it's so much, y'all. Please just, let me know what y'all think about this video in the comments. If y'all maybe want a part 2 on this, topic, let me know, man. And with that being said, it's Black Balloon, and I'm gonna see y'all soon. I'm out.